I'm told that today's conversation, well, I'm always excited to talk to you because I think you are super dope, and your project to highlight Black women over the years and encourage us to buy from them, I think has been amazing. But I'm also told that you are growing and expanding a bit, Miss Nikki Porcher, and I would love to hear this because you the last time you were here, you were talking with us about a separation between you and a previous corporation. We're in a time where Target, we are seeing massive impacts at Target thanks to the purchasing decision making of Black people, and you have been in this space for quite some time. Talk with us about what's the latest and greatest with you.
Yes, so we are officially launched by from a Black business. So we are yes, yes. We have
What?
expanded.
Hold on, Nikki. Hold on. Amina, we got some air horns in there. I need some pew 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 pew. Yes, yes. Buy from a Black woman has launched Buy from a Black business. Nikki, this is phenomenal. Talk to us about this effort.
Yes, so buy from Black business. Well, let me back up. When we started buy from a Black woman, everybody was like, "Oh, what about Black men? What about children business?" Da, 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 da. And I'm like, "Well, Black women are the most business owners, right? We know, and I'm a Black woman, so I'm going to advocate for myself always first and foremost. But as the years grow and as the people grow, and we see what happened literally 5 years ago today, everybody was looking for Black businesses to support, Black businesses to buy, and they bought, but they bought just for the month of June, and then they lost service, they
Mm.
lost customers, they lost media attention. As we grew Buy from a Black business, we realized that we were able to do a lot focusing on Buy from Black business, Buy from Black women and with Black women business owners. In the last 5 years, we were able to generate 6.9 million just in our community alone,
Oh
just in
my
our little
gosh.
small community of Black women business owners. Now that we're seeing with the boycotts, the rollbacks of DEI, Black businesses are suffering. One of the big things is we had a community report that came out in April where we surveyed our community, the Buy from Black women community. And we asked them because we were going to this town hall and Target CEO was supposed to be there. So we wanted to have some real answers for him so we can provide real solutions because we're about real solutions. We're also about collecting data because without numbers, you're just talking, right? So during our community report, we just asked them, like, are you going to go back to Target? What will it take for you to go back to Target? And everyone said, Lurie, that they did not want to go back to Target. They're like, we have everything we need. We just don't know how to find it or where to get it from. And with that, I
Mm.
said, you know what? We were already in the process of bringing out our initiative. We have our own shelves, and we'll talk about that some more. But I wanted to do more for my community. And I knew that it was not just a Black woman issue. And I could no longer just focus just on just Black women, if that makes sense, because I wanted people to understand that Black people, Black businesses need support in order to grow. So with that comes Buy from a Black business. We will be incorporating all businesses owned by all people who are Black, but they have to be 100% owned by Black people. So we're still going with a
Wow.
Buy from a Black woman. We're not doing the 51% Black owned, 100% owned Black owned businesses will be on Buy from a Black business. And Buy from a Black woman businesses will also be on this directory as well. So we're going to enhance what we're doing Buy from a Black woman, but we're going to move it over to all Black businesses.
This is phenomenal. And I gotta be honest with you, I feel like the ancestors have been really busy right now. I'm seeing plantations on fire. I'm seeing trees fall down on the old Confederate buildings. I'm seeing Black people decide, nah, son, we've had enough. We're good. We did all that we could do to save this country from itself. And now we are turning that energy to ourselves. Nikki, so first, congratulations. And I want to say thank you because it takes, I know this work is not easy. You have a life that, and I often say that when people are doing this sort of work for the community, you know that they have the talent and the wherewithal and the skills that if they wanted to be selfish and just apply that to themselves and profit for themselves, they could do that. So I want to thank you publicly, vociferously, because it is a spirit of dedication and love for the people that drives this sort of effort. Buy from a Black woman. I'm sorry. Buy from a Black business. Excuse me. Old habits die hard. Buy from a Black business. I'm seeing that this is kicking off a Summer of Legacy campaign. Talk to us about what this campaign is going to include, because this is a multifaceted effort, and all of us need to be behind this.
Yes. So for the next 90 days, I'm dedicating myself, like I've always do, right? But to empowering, enhancing, and supporting Black businesses as a whole. We're starting with the launch of Buy from a Black Business. While we're promoting that, we're also promoting our community report so people can understand why we decided to expand the way we have. We are going to New Orleans as well to under Buy from a Black Woman, but also to collect more information from our Black communities. And we'll also be doing podcast episodes with Black business owners there as well. And then in August, we are doing our Georgia initiative called We Have Our Own Shelves, where we'll be doing pop-ups inside of Black-owned brick and mortar stores with Black businesses as we work on a program to incorporate the shelf to table or business owner to business owner program where we'll have Black businesses go inside a Black-owned brick and mortar. So we're going ahead and grow that community and that relationship as well. So we have our own shelves and then just boots on the ground, making sure that Black businesses know that they are not by themselves, but also making sure consumers know how to properly support businesses. I forgot that part too. We got a lot going on, right? So we also kicked off today our redirection over reaction series. It's an email series, it's a free email series on how to be a better consumer and how to actually support Black businesses. Because again, what we were finding out, people are like, oh, well, I want to support, but I don't know how, I don't know where, or I'll forget. So what this class is going to teach you how to be mindful, how to be intentional, and how to be conscious consumers every day.
Mm. Now that is so interesting to me, mainly because if it's a course or a workshop, and if you could tease that out a bit for us, because we have as a community cultivated, not because we wanted to, but because of the conditions in which we find ourselves, but we have cultivated some behaviors and some practices that are not serving us. They are antithetical to who we are and to what our goals of unity might look like. But we got to learn how to change those behaviors. Like one of the things I say at the end of each episode is I need us to figure out how to tap into our Harriet Tubman love, because Harriet Tubman somehow, some way learned how to love us more than the messages around her taught her not to. And I think that's something that we all have to do, figure out how to love each other more than we were taught not to. But you're talking about taking that principle and applying it to our consumer power. So you're going to be teaching people how to be better at Black consumption. Tease that out for us a bit.
Yeah, so it's a free program. It's just 5 days of email series, and then we'll follow up more. But it's basically just how to be a better consumer when it comes to Black businesses, and also it's stuff that
Wow.
you can transfer to small businesses, local businesses, right? One of the things that we've noticed is everybody was saying, "Well, I'm not going to go to Target. I'm not going to go to Target." But talking to those Black business owners, those sales have not changed. They're saying, "Oh, well, don't go on Target, buy directly." But people are not buying directly in the way that they should be, or in the way
Mm.
that they say they would on social media. It's a lot of digital decoration happening when it comes to,
Ooh.
loud noise, the boycotts without any redirection. It's cool to boycott something, but if you're not telling your consumers who you're telling to boycott what to do after the boycott, is wasted breath, is wasted energy. So with
Mm.
redirection over reaction, we're showcasing that in everyday habits. So today's question prompt was, what did you buy last week that you could have bought from a Black business? And it's just changing your mind shift, changing your mindset. And we've received some answers already. One woman, she said that she bought a watermelon from a supermarket, but then she saw a Black farmer on the street who was also selling watermelons. And she thought about the course before she even, was even going to take it, because it didn't kick off until today. But she had signed up for it last week, and she was saying that her mindset wasn't to buy from off the street because she didn't recognize like that was an actual business. But when she went to go talk to that man, he was a
Mm.
Black farmer and he had other produce as well. But so there's that mind shift change where you're thinking that just because he's selling fruit on the side of the street, he can't be a real business. However, we have to remember we don't have the capacity to go into the supermarket. So we have to support each other until we get to that point. So when you're saying, hey, well, I go to this store because it's more convenient, that store was a small business first. Walmart was a small business neighborhood. Target was a small business neighborhood before we became a national chain. So if you're
Mm.
saying we need Black businesses to be national chain, you should support Black businesses at this level. There's so many people who want to be there when the lights are on and cameras are flashing. However, we have to start where we're starting with each other. So she said she bought the
Mm.
watermelon. She talked to the man. He was a Black farmer. She realized that she could actually buy this stuff from him directly, and that just shifted her mindset right there.
Wow. Wow. And see, your dog obviously says that that woman should have known, because that's why he growling. He said, why she ain't know that? And I bet you that man selling watermelon on the side of the road, I bet you his watermelon had seeds too. But
And she said that too. She said it was the best watermelon she ever had.
look at that. Look at that. Now this is important, Nikki, because a lot of times when we run into when we as a community are launching a thing or we're starting to do a new thing, sometimes we plan for the population that we wished that we had, right? Like I've talked with some educators who went into education thinking that just being a black educator that was going to be enough, and it's like I don't even like these kids no more, and they supposed to be from our community. They said they called me corny, and it's like wait a minute, you wanted to be a teacher because you knew there was a need and you wanted to go into this community because you knew there was a need, but you didn't prepare to meet the needs of the people and the students as they are. You prepared for the students as how you wanted them to be, the ideal student. And we do that a lot of times. We'll have an idea and we'll launch it, but we're launching the idea as if the problems that prevented the idea from existing before were not there. But you are saying, okay, I'm launching this effort to encourage us to buy from a black business, but I can't assume that black people already know how to do that. So we have to train, and because you called it digital decoration, and I feel like I've heard I might have heard you say this on Karen's show, because we just had Rick on. I feel like I've used that phrase a lot today. I think I heard you say this on Karen's show. We just shout out to everybody who is a part of the Urban View family. But I feel like I heard you in conversation talk about this before, that everybody was big and bad with the boycott Target, but they did not. Like, I go to the lipbar.com on a regular basis to get my matte lipsticks. I'm getting, in fact, now I'm getting more makeup from the lipbar.com, black owned, vegan, cruelty free makeup company. I get Izora BB. I get my facial cleansing system. All my facial cleansing systems comes from a black woman who I found on Twitter, who was a chemist, and she's just super duper dope. But a lot of us, if you're not thinking that way, not going to Target is easy if I'm going to just go get the same thing from another white store. You are saying I can't assume y'all have good behavior, so I'm gonna have to teach you how to have some pro-black business behavior. Is that sort of what's driving this? Because I want us to speak to that issue explicitly.
Exactly. So when I am talking to my small circle, because I'm always doing community surveys, right? If it was the Buy from Black Women community, it's with people in my life directly. If you're not shopping at Target, where are you going? And what I'm learning is a lot of them are going to Walgreens or the local drugstore. They're not
Yep.
going online to buy from Black businesses, but they were so gun-ho. I only go to Target. I only buy Black businesses when I'm in Target. But now that you're not going to Target, where are you going? And when I'm
Mm.
asking questions, some are very embarrassed because they don't want to tell me because they're like, oh, here come our quiz lady asking us about Black people. But they're embarrassed because they're like, they didn't realize that they shift and redirected, but they didn't redirect to their community. And they're looking for convenience over, conscious.
Mm.
And we have to stop that. Now, we know when you boycott anything, it's not going to be comfortable. It's going to be very inconvenient because now you're changing your habits, but making sure that you are actually changing your habits for the reason why you're boycotting. If you say, I'm not shopping at Target, but you're going to Walmart, go back to Target. You're wasting everybody's
Ooh.
energy. It doesn't make any
Damn.
sense. They're like vegan people who eat cheese. Don't tell me you're vegan and you eating cheese. Like that doesn't make any sense. You're not vegan. You just don't eat meat. Say what it is that you're actually doing and realizing what your behaviors really look like so you can actually change them. If you're not being honest with yourself, then you're not going to be able to do the work.
She said, call a thing what it is. She said, just say you don't like pork, but don't say you vegetarian because you ate a whole beef burger. That's me. I just don't eat pork. Give me a juicy steak. I got this whole half this soup situation could have been resolved. But I was like, well, I'm going to eat a steak and I need my back teeth because I like red meat. So, I was a vegetarian at once.
So I'm very passionate about this, right? I've been doing this work for 10 years, so I'm very passionate about it. So sometimes when I talk to people, like, oh my goodness, here comes Miss Advocate, Miss Pro-Black. And it's not about being pro-Black, it's just the answer is very easy. If we're saying this is what we want to happen in our community, and you are not doing the steps to get to that, just stop talking. It's like the people who say, oh, I don't like the president, but they didn't vote. Don't talk to me.
Mm,
You can't say
mm,
anything to me about this subject. So it's not about me shaming. It's not about guilt. It's about growth. It's about realizing that you don't even know your subconscious is doing this until somebody
right.
with gentle, with love tells you like, hey, here's a soft way just to reframe that mindset. And that's what redirection to overreaction is. That's what buy from a Black woman was, is what buy from a Black business is as well.